I'm sitting here with the oh-so-controversial Tommy Robinson. Tommy, how are you?
MEP Tommy.
MEP Tommy, correction.
I'm alright.
So, when did you start the campaign? Because I've been following your campaign for about a week now, and I am exhausted just watching you do it. When did you start?
About 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, and how are you feeling so far?
Good, it's gone good. It's gone good. I say it's gone good. It's exposed a lot already. Mm-hmm. It's exposed the fact that there's complete hypocrisy by the media, by the establishment, by politicians. I've been attacked multiple times, violently attacked. You saw what happened in Oldham. We come under attack from everywhere. And the public that are seeing our videos, they've tried to limit that by deleting us and censoring us from everywhere, can see the hypocrisy and see the lies being put out. Like, we come under violent attack on a political rally and the headlines say, police cars smashed at Tommy Robinson event, clashes at Tommy Robinson event. You read the entire story, you read the entirety of the story. It doesn't make clear at all who were the attackers, who were the aggressors, who the victims were. It leaves it out there so people can witness that and see it and exposes their agenda. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm pretty tired.
Tired, yeah. How's this actually, you have a family, you have kids and a wife, they're not with you during the campaign. How are they taking it with you being away for so long and in these dangerous situations where there's a mob coming at you? How are they taking it?
I don't know. My son's missing me. He's getting emotional now. That's what my wife keeps saying. So, but my wife I don't tell my wife anything. I always said
until she sees it in the news the next
day.
Yeah,
but she doesn't really follow anything.
Yeah.
Purposely doesn't read or follow anything. So it's not like when we're getting attacked or something happens, I'm not ringing her up saying, oh, this has happened, that's happened. So I think that's the best way that she can deal with it. But obviously we've been told twice on this campaign by the police that they have intelligence of there's going to be attempts made on our life, which is not great, but it shows the times we're in. We've already shown now that you can't actually hold political rallies in some cities because of the extent of the violence from members of the Muslim community. But the most satisfying thing for me so far has been when I get into these towns and cities and the estates and just the general public, I see how supportive they are. And not just how supportive they are, I see how passionate they are. So I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling relaxed as well.
Yeah.
We're having a good laugh.
Yeah, there's been lots of laughs, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
So with these threats happening, what are the police actually doing?
Nothing. So in 10 years, anyone who's followed me for 10 years, lots of people would have known when I worked with Rebel, continuously people are threatening to kill me, making videos to kill me. I watched another video yesterday where the man is talking about going and getting my wife and going and get my mother, making public videos, and there's no arrests. You get people being arrested every day now by the Fort Police in this country and for Twitter and social media comments, but then it's like they're given a green card. It's like there's a free reign of attack against Tommy Robinson, and we've seen it. It's been proven. Physical assaults. And I just heard that Nigel Farage has been hit with a milkshake today. The man was arrested instantly. When I got a milkshake put over my head by a Muslim in Warrington, the police dropped him at the train station. The police dropped him off at the train station. So, and I think all that encouragement, and it was celebrated. Attacks against me on this campaign have been celebrated by everyone. All the media.
Even Burger King, I saw, made a post on Twitter that we're selling milkshakes.
Come and get them.
Come and get them, yeah.
Encouraging political attacks. And the environment they've created is one of fear. Like, I thank every single person that comes out, because where we're going now, we could come under violent attack again, and the likeliness is we will. And the likeliness is that the police won't protect us. And that's the sad state of affairs we're in. And I just hope that people, because you can see how many people are feeling it. I can see by when I walk around the streets, I just hope they vote on the 23rd.
So what actually sparked you, like what made you actually decide to go into this race? Did you ever think you were going to go into politics in the past? Was this something you thought about?
We had a bet. It was, I always said I'm not a politician, and I always said I don't want to be a politician, and I was hitting the media, and I think that really their censorship and removal of me from everywhere, they've sort of took my voice away from me. One moment when I was released from the Old Bailey after my court case was thrown out, this was for the contempt case, I went for dinner at the House of Lords. I was invited by Lord Pearson, and I watched the reaction of all the politicians. and I watched their utter contempt for us, the way they spoke about me, the lies they told under parliamentary privilege about me, and they're sneering. And I remember sitting when I watched that, and I genuinely thought, one day I'm going to sit amongst all of you. Because I watched as we have 650 MPs, and not one of them speaks for the average person's concerns, fears, talks about the problems. So I remember that point then, I thought, you know what? I want to go into politics when I watched that. I want to get involved in there. And I'm realising as well, when I was in prison, I was sitting, you got a lot of time to think. So I was thinking. They don't care if we have 100,000 people march. They don't care. Until we take their seats, they'll care. And until we get organised. And essentially this 4 weeks, which if we do this, it's been over 4 weeks with everything stacked against us. Every other candidate I'm up against has social media. Every other candidate I'm up against can spend £360,000 on their campaign. Every other candidate isn't under attack by the press, isn't under attack by Muslim gangs, isn't being silenced, having police interference in their election campaign. Every other candidate, if we manage to do this in 4 weeks, it will, I think, inspire people across this country to realise it's on. I want this to be like, now we're talking, now it's on. Basically, that's what I want. The 23rd, the results come in on the 26th, and I want to stand there and give them some speech. So get ready, because we're coming. We're going to build it up, and I hope that this is the spark that's needed.
And whether, depending on how this goes, whether you get the seat or not, I don't want to jinx it.
When?
Yeah, when. Do you see yourself continuing in politics for a long time? What's the end goal?
I do know, yeah.
Prime Minister?
Do you know what it is? I see that, be a good crack, wouldn't it? I see that so many people, do you know, again, I go back to when I was in prison, I used to receive like letters like this every day. That many every day. I had nothing to do, I was on solitary for months, so I just sat and read between 5 hours a day, literally non-stop, just reading letters. And reading and feeling the supporters' emotions and how committed they were, and then also how much they were relying on me, which was pressure. Which was because when all this started 10 years ago, I was speaking for myself. So now I know there's a movement of people relying on me. So I think that this voice, the movement, Tommy Robinson become a movement. The Free Tommy become a movement. I think that movement has to be politicised, and I want to politicise a generation of people from my background, from our estates, from our communities, who aren't interested in politics. We need to get political. We need to fight, and there's no point in marching. So yeah, I'm going to be Prime Minister. Yeah. And every one of you traitors who have been treasonous for all these years, I'm going to bring you all to a book. It's coming.
So what's been the biggest struggle so far with the campaign?
The biggest struggle? Danny Tomo's driving.
Yeah, I can second that.
Yeah. That's the biggest struggle. And lack of toilet roll in the house. Yeah. And no, the biggest struggle, being away from home. Mm-hmm. Not seeing my kids, not seeing my daughters dance shows. It's a long way. Do you know what it was? I could have come up and done days here, days there. If I lost this campaign, I'll be hitting myself. So I want to make sure that if I did lose it, there's nothing more I could have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just went all in.
Yeah, all in, every day. But it's been fun. Mm-hmm. It's been fun.
So what's been like the biggest surprise, whether that's negative or positive? What's something like that you weren't expecting that you've encountered?
I wasn't expecting Greater Manchester Police to walk a baying mob of hundreds of Muslims wearing balaclavas to a family event where they knew children were, armed with bricks, bottles, to attack it. I just still cannot believe that no media have reported on this. That no media, everyone has twisted it completely. The evidence is all there, the footage is all there. A baying mob of Muslims screaming Allah Akbar were walked for miles and escorted by police to a family event so they could attack and destroy it. And I just can't believe that's allowed to. I can't believe it's happened. And I can't believe no one's made a song and dance about it. No one.
Where do you think this is coming from? Whether it's the media or just average citizens, this like obsession with multiculturalism and ignoring the negative sides to it. Where is that rooted it from? Is that just ignorance, or they don't
Guilt.
know it?
Guilt. And I wouldn't say it's average. The majority of people, I believe, realise the problems. The majority. The elite, the media, with their agenda, is to cover up and hide any of these facts, hide any of these problems, which we've witnessed for years. But it's not just that they're not just not reporting on it; they're actively editing and changing the complete narrative and printing fake news completely, misleading headlines, completely distorting the truth of what happened in order to attack and slander me. And I take it as a compliment to how much they fear us. And it's not that they fear me, they fear the people. I've been saying the same thing for 10 years, and I wasn't deleted and removed. I all of a sudden got removed, and that's because I got to a point where they knew people are listening to it. I looked at the figures: 60 million people watched my videos in 4 weeks, 173 million people read my tweets. This is going back a year. It's only got bigger and bigger and bigger. That they fear. So they've tried to take us away. Now, if I win this seat, then we're fighting. We just keep fighting.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing battle.
How does the country actually take back their rooted values, Western, Christian, Judeo values?
How do we take it back? I'd say first thing has to be installing pride in who we are. If we had pride in ourselves and pride in our country and pride in our estates, we wouldn't be letting any of this happen. But most of us have had that taught out of us, or made to feel guilty, or made to feel ashamed of our actual identity, especially in working class communities. It's been smashed out of us. I think in reinstalling that we should be proud, and that we should be proud of our history, and be proud of our country, and not be ashamed. We're from the best country in the world. Being born in England's like winning the lottery of life. We should celebrate it. And I think that's the first. If you just install pride back in our people, it'd be the first stepping stone to solving most of the problems. Because if we had pride in ourselves, we wouldn't be allowing any of this to happen. We're allowing it to happen because we've become weak. We don't realise our own strength and who we are and where we've come from. And that's why so many people are converting, or so many people are starting to talk different ways, and culture's changing. There
was the other day, part of your speech you did mention when you were in Blackpool that you met parents, a father or a mother of a girl that was kidnapped, and she was, I think, held hostage for about 2 days.
Yeah, that was in Barrow.
Yeah, and that shook me, because I'm not from Blackpool, but when I was a ballroom dancer, I used to go there every year.
Oh, so in Blackpool actually, that was in Barrow. So I met parents in Barrow. That's what I said in my speech, where they said the father messaged me yesterday. His daughter was held in chains, naked, 13 years old, for 2 days in the house. She used to go missing all the time. They've now made arrests. But in Blackpool, going back 10 years, a girl called Charlene Downs was abducted. Her body's never been found. But they had tape recordings of the Muslims from the kebab shop saying that they put her body through the meat grinder in the kebab shop. They were arrested, they got off on a technicality, and they got awarded £250,000 compensation. They're still running takeaways now. In that one small town, there's another girl that was gone missing, never been found. 13 years old she was. There's 100 of Muslim-owned takeaways that were named in an intelligence report, a leaked intelligence report, so they don't let the public know this. 100 takeaways that were being used as honey traps to get the girls in, to prostitute them, to rape them. And this has all been happening in every town and city. 78 towns and cities so far where they've uncovered mass gangs like this operating in this exact same way, coordinated across the whole country. Muslim men taking English children and moving them around the country in their thousands. And this is when we first started talking about this 10 years ago, no one believed us. Everyone acted like we were making it all up. Only when the Rotherham report scandal come out did then people think, oh my God, like, they're not lying. Because it sounds so untrue. What, the police let it happen and the police don't make arrests, and when you hear the stories, it just doesn't sound like it could be true. That there is the power of political correctness. It's that powerful that it can, politicians, government agencies will all stand by and watch as a generation of children are being raped just because they don't want to get called racist.
So whenever I try to talk to protesters pretty much at all your rallies, I'm not always even allowed to go near them. But when I do, I always ask the simple question, of course, why are you here? Because we oppose fascism, because Tommy's a racist. And then I ask, why is he a racist? And they never have answers for me. But when they're online, they will throw a bunch of video clips of you saying things. And to me, clearly, it's out of humor. Whenever somebody gives me proof of racism, it's always a very humorous clip where people are laughing. Like,
you've spent a week with us, yeah?
Yeah.
What do we do? All we do is laugh.
Yeah.
And joke and banter and humour.
It's healthy.
It's healthy because otherwise, because this is so depressing.
Yeah.
The reality is, everywhere we go and the stories you hear, and the threat of violence all the time, or generally living thinking someone's going to kill you at some point, is that depressing. We turn everything into humour, to laugh and banter your way through the days. But they either bring them or they're edited clips. So if there's one key one where I'm standing outside and I say, in these houses here are enemy combatants. You see this community and you think it's ordinary Muslims. There's enemy combatants living here. Yeah? They just cut that bit and they use that. But what I actually said is, before they cut it, is I'm standing there after the Manchester terrorist attack, which is a year anniversary in a couple of days. I stood there, I went to the estate, Muslim estate, I stood outside a mosque, I said, where I'm standing now, within a 2-mile radius of where I am, 19 terrorists have come, been killed, suicide attacks, 19 within 2 miles of where I am. In these houses here, there are enemy commands. There are. It's a fact. 19 of them within 2 miles. This is a massive problem. But they've cut and edited the bit where I'm talking about the terrorist attack and the fact there's 19, and they just cut and edit that. And then Momentum, who are the Labour Party's propaganda wing, and with a huge funding and Hope Not Hate, the far left organisation who tried to frame me for the Panodrama, they then spend so much money just firing these clips on social media that we're not allowed to even counter our argument to because we've been removed, and they just send these across all the public. So when you take little snippets of things I've said and you put them all together the way they have, then they're trying to convince people, but they're lying to people. It's not in context. It's not what I said. That's not how it was said. So yeah, they know what they're doing.
Don't you expect better from the average person when they see these kind of clips? You don't think that...
Oh yeah, the average person doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
The average person doesn't believe it. Because I know that. I told a story the other day when I went to a nightclub in London. Bearing in mind they've been propagating and telling everyone I'm a racist for years, the media have. And I went to a nightclub in London with a couple of my mates from Luton, and they're black lads. And the nightclub we went to, pretty much, there was probably 2 white people in the club. I was one of them. And the reception I got was unbelievable. It was great. Everyone was like, yes, Tommy, how you doing? And I just start laughing all the time because I think, you have had unlimited funding. You'd have had every newspaper in the country. You've had every politician. Every one of you have been lying about me for years, trying to brainwash the public into believing I'm a racist. And none of them are buying it. The only people who buy it are these people who you see at demonstrations that you'll talk to. And these people are usually middle class, social misfits, absolute degenerates of society, who all then come together for one day to scream, and their argument is Nazi scum. That's their argument. That's not an argument.
Yeah.
Racist, no, that's not an argument. That's not a debate. That doesn't, just because you say I'm a Nazi doesn't mean I'm a Nazi. And the point is, which I've watched on your video, when you say, well, explain that, and then it's just, and it's quite funny because it's the same in their head. I can see it happening. Oh, I actually don't know why he's a racist. I've just been told he's a racist, and here I am now on
it's like
camera.
The only thing that's all they need. They just need an attack, a phrase. Yeah, racist. That sounds bad.
Yeah.
Just as a word.
But then when you ask them questions, which is why they say we don't debate. We will. I've just put a video out today. Don't debate with fascists. No, you won't debate because you'll look this big. Because I'll destroy your arguments, and you've got no evidence on what you're saying. But we're winning.
Yeah. Like what I've noticed when I go and I talk to both sides at a protest or a rally or one of your events, I ask everyone the same question, why are you here? But I only get an answer from one side. Your supporters will go on for minutes. If I let them keep talk, they will talk my ear off about why they support you, why they're there, why they think it's important to support you. The other side, they have nothing to say.
No.
It's very quick.
And it's the same people. The other side.
Yeah.
Same people each one. They're bussed in. They're paid to be there. What have you thought about our supporters? Because you come here. That's what I'd like to know. Because you come here, you probably didn't know what you're coming to.
Yeah.
We've never met. You probably watched the videos.
Well, I've been following your career
Yeah.
for the last few years, I'd say, and if you Google your name, when people ask me who I was, why I was going here, I was even hesitant to say your name because they're quickly Google search, and I say
Oh my God.
maybe don't Google him, just wait for my videos to come,
Yeah.
because it's making my job quite easy because all I have to do is go there.
Yeah.
And capture what's going on, talk to supporters, talk to people that don't
And
like
it's such,
you, and there it is.
and the
I
stereotype
don't do
that's
anything
given,
with
the
it.
stereotype that's given of my supporters is so
Yeah.
far out, isn't it?
Yeah,
They're just ordinary, lovely people.
yeah, very nice,
Yeah.
very nice,
Oh,
honest people. Yeah.
And what's surprised me so much, which is so warming as well, is how many elderly ladies there are. And I'm looking, and they're following everything. And every one of them give me a kiss and cuddle and said, I think you're like my son, and we love it, and I worry for you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm thinking for you. And for me, it's I don't know, what do I say, emotional, it's
heartwarming.
It's
for
heartwarming,
sure.
and it
Yeah.
completely is, to see how many people care.
Mhm.
It's good, yeah. And no matter what, I said, hey, you get times. When was I going? So about a month ago, I just felt at the end of my tether, man, with everything. And then I went and had 1 week away to recharge my batteries. And then that was a week away where I went away, and I generally was feeling at the lowest of the low because I think it was a recharge, I had just everything. I've got all this other stuff. They come to my house, my family, my children are having problems at school, being picked on, comments made to them, all of these things. And then it was that week I went away to think a lot about where I go from now, because I could see the effect it has on my family. And I come back and thought, we're going for it. And that's when I decided to stand in that week. I thought, because I felt like everything, they'd removed me from everywhere. I felt a bit defeated. Went and had a week break and thought, I'm going to come and smash it, get in the middle of every one of you, recharge my batteries, and here we are. Here we are, 3 days away from winning an election. God, these bits are all going to be cut together if I lose. That's what I keep saying, is if I lose, I would be able to make the goldest video ever against me and make me look like such an idiot. So, good luck, hope not hate with that one, yeah?
So your kids have actually been bullied at school because of who their father is.
My son was 9, and he had 12-year-olds coming up to him, threatening to stab him with their hoods up, covering their faces, because of who their father is. And I went to all the kids' houses. They were young black lads. None of them were from Luton, they've all come from London. Uganda, was it? A lady had come from Uganda. And the mother, I knocked on the mother's door, and she was such a nice lady. She was absolutely distraught when I said, your son's threatening to stab mum. And the boy was there. I said, when I got to, and he was terrified. He was like, oh. I said, mate, what is this about? And he said, because of racism. I said, most of my friends are blacker than you. Yeah? And when I went through it all, this is why I get so angry with the media, because their lies have an effect, not just on me, but on my kids. The lies and the words Nazi and the words racist, which have none of these 3 kids who are picking on my son were Muslims, which is insane. There are 3 young black children who have been lied to by media and the government and politicians everywhere, and that's then having a detrimental effect on my kids' safety because of their lies.
Well, it's like the media is almost like raising a whole next generation of people that are that actually think that there's these neo-Nazis
going
trying
around
to go into European Parliament, but that's not what it is.
And we need to stop them. And they just, like Pim Fortuyn, the Dutch politician, he got a cake thrown in his face like I had a milkshake thrown over me. That's where it starts. He ended up getting shot dead. And the man that killed him was a leftist, and he thought he was making the world a better place. Because the media had attacked him for so long and basically said that he was the next Hitler when he wasn't.
Yeah.
And someone thought it was their duty, and they're doing the right thing to kill him and to stop him. And that's how they're building me up. They're building me up, I believe, to be hit hard and taken down. That's what I believe they're doing. And someone will end up making it. And I know that 100% at some point, someone is going to make an attempt on my life. And they'd have been radicalised to do it by the establishment, which is insane. And the fact they give the green card, because anyone can hit me, anyone can beat me up, anyone can attack me, anyone can make threats to kill me, murder my family, and not one single person ever gets arrested.
Has there been a moment where, like, of course you've had several death threats to you and your family, but has there ever been a moment that you were actually in fear, like something that came so close?
There were 6 Muslims who got caught with guns, bombs and suicide notes on the way to kill us. They got 30 years in jail.
When was this?
2012. And then, so they got 30 years in jail. I went to their court case. Stood at the back of the court. There's about 16 of them as they were getting sentenced. And once they got 30 years, I was like, God save the Queen. I was trying to think of what I could say that wouldn't get me done for contempt of court.
Yeah.
I thought we're in the Queen's court. God save the Queen should go down all right. And it erupted. And then about 6 months later, I got arrested. And I got took to Wood Hill Prison, maximum security. And I sat in a glass room and I looked to the left. 1, 2, all of them. And I was like, I'm dead now, man. I'm dead. They've took me to where all the terrorists are, and I'm literally not coming out of it. But there's been loads of moments like that. But in the early years, I don't think I dealt with that very well. I used to go out drinking a lot and try. I guess I don't know whether it's going to be fair to say this to someone who's got terminal cancer, but I felt like I was walking around with a terminal illness. And I was 25. What was I? 25 when I started. So I was 25. I just had my kids. My businesses were froze, and then all of a sudden I think deeply about everything. So I think there's only one way this is going, and if I was a terrorist, if I was one of them, and I'm looking to make an effect, who do I kill to bring the tensions up? That's me. And I think if I was them, I'd kill me, or I'd go for me. So, and I think, and that's why I think my house address was exposed recently by a Muslim jihadi lawyer, along with far left organisations. They actively went and videoed to show where my family were. And I think all of this is so that people can make an attempt on my life.
So I was at the Old Bailey last week for your trial. Has this been a distraction at all for you? Is it on the back of your mind? Because now you're going in July 4th for not for the same charges. What are the new charges now?
The new charges are that I caused anxiety to the Muslim paedophiles, and the police are saying that they should be free to walk into court without fear of molestation. What a word they used there. Molestation. These are the men that have raped, tortured children. That's what I'm on trial for now. On the 4th. And I'll be convicted, 100%. I'll be found guilty. Because I'll be found guilty, 100%. Because I've not got a jury. I can't have a jury. So I believe. I looked at the judges that are sitting it, and I looked at the prosecutor, and they're all part of the same chambers. Mm-hmm. I just think the whole thing's sealed and dealed already. I'm getting convicted.
And so even the fact that the next trial is on July 4th, which is supposed to be the first day when you get the seat that you should be in the parliament,
yep.
Do you think that's a coincidence?
Oh, well, no, it's not. We know it's not. That again is good for everyone to see, because it's like, look, it's clear.
Yeah.
They are interfering.
Yeah, they're not even pretending. They're
not
trying
to hide it.
Yeah.
They used to arrest me when they make up charges, and then they'd bail me, and the day I had to answer them bail at the police station was the same date and time that I was supposed to be talking at a demonstration. It's like, it's just so clear. Yeah. But I guess now, by removing me from social media, they've removed my ability to talk to the public. So they just think they'll do what they want. And not as many people would have found out as before. Before, if I sat here now and done this, we'd sit here and by tomorrow we'd have 1 million views. They've absolutely killed that ability to reach the public.
Well, even talking to some of your supporters, that just announcing that you'll be somewhere, posting that on Facebook, they get banned.
You get banned, yeah? If you mention Tommy Robinson, you get banned.
I don't know how I haven't been banned yet, because I have just been...
I'll report you. I'll report you after, and then you'll be banned.
Yeah. I'll do that.
No, you get banned. Yeah, you get banned just for mentioning Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
Now, what level of censorship is that? Do you know what that is? I believe when Panodrama come out, by what they've done, Facebook have named me now as a hate figure, even though I've never been arrested or tried or even spoken to about any hate crimes or hate speech. By doing that then means that no one can mention me. That's why they've done it. So if you put up the link to my documentary Panodrama, that's when this happened, it gets deleted straight away. Anything linked to Tommy Robinson, delete. They're like trying to delete me completely from the internet. And that's why this is a very make or break moment. Because if I lost this election, people will forget who Tommy Robinson is as much in the coming years, because I'm not seen anymore. I'm gone. So I have to then. That's why I went to have a think about how I really get myself back in the middle of everything, how I keep the voice building, or how I build the movement and represent it. Politics. If I get in and win this, it's on.
Do you think when you're in that seat, do you think they'll let you have social media after that? Or are you going to be the only one in there that can't post publicly?
These are all the issues that I'll cause mayhem if I get in. I'll cause mayhem. The main issue I want to raise or have about is censorship. Someone needs to step in. Donald Trump needs to step in, because people are just being erased and deleted for their beliefs by big tech. And social media now is part of people's lives. It's not like, oh, we're a private company. No, you're part of the mainstream society now. That's how people live their lives. You can't just delete it. And where does it end? What's next for me? We've seen, since I've been on this campaign, Stripe have deleted me. So they won't process any payments. They want to stop people even being able to fund my campaigns or fund my movement. They've deleted me. What's next? Will the mobile phone companies then become part of this movement that are censoring us? Will I be denied even to have a mobile phone contract? That's where we're heading. Bank accounts. People are already losing their bank accounts. Completely unpersoned. For what? I've broken no laws. I just hope that we can get there in time to build the movement, and this momentum, it'll be like a snowball if we win this election, because then it's going to be like, right, we need to get up, and I want to get going. The fight back's on.
How do you feel Donald Trump has been doing? He's I guess the next election is 2020, so he's almost had a full term. How do you feel has he been living up to expectations?
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah,
he's been brilliant, hasn't he? Absolutely brilliant. Everything he said he was doing, apart from building the wall, Donald, hurry up.
Yeah.
Build that wall! So, but he's been trying to do it and implement everything he said. And when the world acts shocked, like even moving to Jerusalem and Israel, it's like, that's what he said he was going to do. So he's doing it.
Yeah.
Everything he said he's going to do, he's doing, which is, people don't expect that anymore, because politicians don't, they just lie.
Yeah.
I have more respect for him than anyone on this planet. I absolutely think he's gold. And yeah, it's changed the world.
Yeah. Well,
Saved the world, probably.
Yeah. I was in New York at the time during his election, and I was a ballroom dancer, didn't think about politics at all. Everyone around me said, hey, of course, they hated him. It's all liberal artist types. They hated him. All I heard was that this guy is worse than Hitler. So all of a sudden I hear that somebody is going to be running for president that's worse than Hitler.
My children were taught that from a teacher.
In school?
Yeah, he's like Hitler. In school, he's like Hitler. Because I was preparing for a debate, and I had all notes I'd done all at home in my kitchen. Had something about Donald Trump, and my daughter's friend said, Donald Trump, he's the next Hitler or something. Come on out, I said. And she was what at the time? 8, 9. I said, well, what did you say? She said, oh, that's what, and she named the teacher. That's what the teacher said. I said,
Did you talk to the teacher?
Nah, because I'm in a difficult situation. Because my children get a hard time already.
Yeah.
It's a difficult position because I don't go to my kids' school.
Yeah.
I don't go up the school. I don't want to draw any attention to the school. I don't want anyone knowing where my children are. I just want them to be able to live a bit of much normality as they can. So it's a difficult one, but that's not that. I've heard that time and time again of all the kids, all 3 kids. So they're making comments. And one of the teachers said, you're allowed to say naughty words only if it's about Donald Trump. I swear to God, in class. Only if it's about Donald Trump.
And this is what grade was this that she's teaching?
9-year-olds.
What's that?
9-year-olds.
Oh, okay, 9-year-olds.
9-year-olds. So, but I think with the next election coming up, someone's got to get hold of this censorship, because he won't win the next election, or he might win the next one. But if this is the future, if the only opinion that's going to be allowed to be on social media, and the only people propagating and telling people their views is going to be opposition without a fair balance, or like anyone can say what they want about me now, I can't even contradict it. I can't even comment. I can't comment. People are lying about me every single day. Politicians are lying. I usually would have just quote tweeted it and put the facts and give evidence, and people would see their lies. They've got it now that I can't even do that.
I want to know about little Tommy. When you were a kid,
Yep.
What did you want to? Did you have a dream when you were a kid? Did you have a specific?
I had a
thing you wanted
dream.
to do? What did you want to do? What did little Tommy want?
Little Tommy.
Yeah. I want to know the softer side of Tommy Robinson.
I don't know. I just grew up. I done aircraft engineering when I left school, and I didn't want to do it. I done it because it was the best job. I done an apprenticeship, and even after a year of being there, I knew I didn't want to do it, but I finished it, and I kept on the straight because a lot of my friends weren't on the straight. A lot of the kids I grew up with where I am were all up to no good. But having that career when I left school, up until I was about 20, I don't know what I really wanted to do. I don't know, I was football mad. Football mad growing up.
Real football, European football.
Proper football. I was football mad. I don't know. Do you know? I was just going to embarrass myself there actually.
What?
No, nothing.
Please, feel comfortable.
No, that's all right.
Did you grow up in a big family?
So my mum's one of 8 Irish family. I've just got one brother, but growing up I always had my aunties, my uncles, cousins everywhere, loads of them. I had a great upbringing. I loved it. I had a great upbringing, and I like being out, playing out of the house as a kid. I had a normal upbringing.
So after all of this, do you think milkshakes are going to taste better or worse?
I only today realised how funny it must have been for people watching me when I got milkshake, because I watched Nigel Farage's video. I think it's completely wrong, but it was still quite humorous. So people must have been having a great joy laughing at mine. But the environment's been created by that, where that could have been anything in there, any fruit. And at some point it will be something else, rather than milkshake. But I love strawberry milkshake, so I'm glad it was a strawberry milkshake I got thrown over me.
Was it? Did it get in your mouth too?
Straight over my face. Yeah.
Was it still cold at least, or was it like?
Don't know. I can't really remember. I didn't know what it was at first.
Yeah.
Then I tasted it. I was like, what's that? All over me, wasn't it? He absolutely killed me, didn't he?
Well, because he was right. He was right next to you. Like the video, it's so funny because I saw like the article of him. You know, a nice picture of him looking so sweet with a hand on his face, and it says a quote of his like, "Oh, the milkshake slipped. I didn't intend on anything violent or aggressive, this and that." And then you see the video,
and he's jumping around,
right next to you,
screaming.
And he like threw it at you so hard.
I know.
Like, how surprised were you? Were you expecting that at all? Or now when people are around you and
I am so surprised it hasn't happened again.
Yeah.
But the way it was encouraged and celebrated, like people would think, oh, there'd be God. In their little own circles, they will be God if they come and throw a milkshake over me. I'm just surprised that hasn't happened again. But some little girl, you see at Blackpool, some little girl come up to me. She was about, I don't know, 7 or 8, and she handed me a milkshake with a straw.
Oh.
She'd gone to McDonald's and she'd come over, her mum had brought her over, and she goes, "That's how you should have a milkshake, Tommy."
Oh.
She gave me the milkshake.
That's
It was so cute, man.
Was it strawberry?
It was strawberry, yeah, my favourite. And I see, so do you know what else? You see how many kids? And that's why Theresa May as well, like, the government trying to silence everything. And so many, I see, at this event, I've seen so many families, so many children, and all the children are aware, which I think is encouraging. They're all aware of what's happening. They're aware of the situation, which is good because we need them understanding politics. We need them interested in politics. I was never interested in politics. Growing up, do you know, when I started EDL, I didn't know there was left wing and right wing. I didn't have a clue because I didn't care. Yeah. I did not care. I just wanted to work, play football, watch football, go out and party. Like most working class people. Yeah. That's it. Didn't care about politics, didn't care about news. I was so shocked when it started and I found out there was left-wing newspapers and then right-wing newspapers, and understanding this movement on the left, this so-called anti-fascist movement, I was just so shocked that they were calling themselves anti-fascist, anti-racist, but they're all radical extremists. It was all a learning curve for me because I'd never been interested one bit in politics. So all the people out there that I'm trying to appeal to now in this election campaign are those people, because I know they're just like, I don't care. I'm not voting. I've never voted in my life. I've never voted. And until we start voting, and if we can successfully, I have a vision where I think it's hard with our electoral process system because we haven't got PR, which we've got for the European campaign. But if we can do it, we'll be on the brink of history, mate. If we can win this and then fire everyone up to say, basically, let's take our country back. It's the stepping stone or the start.
First of all, I've been getting a lot of support being here, especially like from the UK and also Americans. There are also Americans, Canadians. I got messages from people from India, from Australia. You have supporters all over. So I've been getting a lot of support, a lot of nice messages, but at the same time, I've been getting very angry, aggressive.
See one yesterday about raping you or something?
Yeah. I've been getting awful messages just for being here and giving you a chance. I'm not twisting anything. I'm giving you a chance, just an honest, fair chance of reporting what's actually going on.
Well, they don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to report. I'll give you a little learning thing. When you introduce me on this, you have to say, Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, convicted of, sent to jail for, and then list every single negative thing about everything. Eats lots of crisps and everything that they focus on, which is a joke.
Whether crisps or chips.
No, crisps are crisps.
No. So wait, do you guys have, what about French fries?
They're chips.
But do you ever call them French fries?
No, we call them chips.
So if I went to McDonald's and asked for French fries?
They'd say, you weird Canadian.
Fair enough.
No, chips. Chips.
What's your favorite food?
Mine.
I know you don't like anything green, except that salad I had today. You were looking at it.
It looked nice, but I don't eat anything green, which is pretty immature and pathetic, and I'll probably have bad bowel problems.
What about your kids?
Because my mum always tells me. And
do you make your kids eat green? Or your wife makes them eat green?
Yeah, they eat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want them to eat healthily. I'm just. Yeah.
How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium to well. I know, everyone said, but it's horrible, man. I don't like seeing all the blood. Some people still have it, it's still got a pulse. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, I like medium to well, ribeye. I love my food.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem.
Food?
Just I need routine. So when I get up, for the 6 to 8 weeks before I come here, every morning, and then when I come out of prison, I was a mess when I come out of prison. Total mess. And so I just get in the gym every morning. I'm in at 6 o'clock. I go to a boxing gym, and it's great. That keeps my days done. And if I don't do that, then everything dies. Eating, just everything. Routine.
So before you started the campaign, what's like an average day of yours? What does that look like? You wake up, go to the gym?
Wake up, go to the gym, get back, go solicitors. Basically, get ready for a court case. That's on, off. No, so when I go do something, I just go mad. So if we've done Panodrama, didn't we? We had Panodrama. I'll keep planning, but I've had to put it off, and I feel so bad having to put it off. And then now this election campaign happened. So the next thing I want to do is The Rape of Britain, which will be a documentary hearing from victims, hearing from their mums, their dads, and showing the statistics and letting the public know actually this is what's happening in your town. So I want to go to towns and show a video about, if it's Manchester, I'll make a documentary about Manchester. Showing all the crimes and all the things the police aren't talking about. Showing where the money's going, showing the organisations, the Islamic organisations just exposing everything. That's what I want to do. That's what I've got planned. So when I do that, I'll go nuts and do mad hours for a few weeks, and then I'll have a week off where I'll just get some downtime. I love being there sometimes when the kids get home from school. Yeah. I've had loads going on. I've had to move the family again.
Because your home address was published, or
when my wife and kids were here, they made it public. 6 people turned up, masked up, just to intimidate. Yeah. And then it's hard. So when I go away, so for 5 weeks I couldn't go anywhere. I had to, and then someone pulled my kid over at the end. My 9-year-old, as he's walking down the road, so he was hysterical. The school rang us, asking him comments about me. was 9 years old. So then I think people are actually now waiting near my house when my children are. So that for me to come away and like do this like I do now, I can only do it with a peace of mind, knowing that my wife and children are hidden, basically.
Yeah.
They're safe.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Do you think we're going to win?
I am an independent journalist.
But what do you think? By the reaction you're seeing?
The reaction I'm seeing, it's overwhelming. Especially coming from Canada, from everything I've seen, all the publicity that you've gotten, compared to when I'm actually on the ground, surrounded by your supporters, it's overwhelming. It's inspiring to see. It really is. Yeah. It's so refreshing to be around patriots, proud patriots.
I'm so positive.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is when I see people and I see how much it's meaning to them. Even if it's just when I get a hug and they're just...
I've even gotten some hugs just for being here.
Because they're grateful.
So grateful.
They're so grateful to have, hold on, this person's not lying about us.
Mm-hmm.
This person's not calling us far right. This person's here to report what's happening.
Yeah.
People feel so happy and elated that there's actually fair journalism. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
We then start thinking, yes, someone's telling the truth, someone's reporting this. We shouldn't be getting excited about that. That should just be standard.
Yeah, exactly.
No one should be wanting a hug or kiss you and thank you for reporting.
Yeah.
But that's
doing my job,
That's the mess we're in. That's the mess we're in. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll get nervous because I haven't been nervous yet. Actually, I was at the start. I've relaxed a lot now, and I'm enjoying it. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying the thought of winning.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the thought of to the world, to everyone who's tried to drag us down. And then I'll sit and I will absolutely laugh my head off about their censorship. I'll say, you tried to censor us, look what you've done. Yeah. Look what pulling me off Facebook's done. I'm now strutting into the European Union in my Stone Island jacket with the lads.
Well, yeah, it's the same. It's just there's so many similarities between your situation and Trump's situation. He had on mainstream like CNN, all this, they were projecting a 3% chance that he was going to win.
Yeah. Oh, come on, I need this Donald Trump moment. We need it. And I know, sitting now, just think we can be on the cusp of really energising our people, really making them believe. Because that's the thing, is making them believe and making them think it's possible. And we're on the edge of it. And I'm either going to be screaming, laughing, or crying. No, not crying, because no matter what I've done, I'm going to politicise people. I've got people interested in politics, and we've had a laugh on the way.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebel. Thanks, Ez. Cheers, mate.